Hello, 7-footers. This is our post-All-Star Weekend episode, and Jarod and Jenna are here, per usual.
We are.
Yes, we are.
Been a couple weeks since, 2 weeks since All-Star.
It has. We took a 2-week break.
And we needed to after All-Star.
Oh my gosh, which we will get to because there are some fun stories that we can let you in on and some other ones that...
Some stories that are not suitable for podcasts.
Exactly. But, Jarod,
yes.
This is an exciting episode because right now we are in the midst of a deep playoff race.
We are.
A lot of teams are performing well, a lot of teams aren't.
Certainly
And a
there.
lot of teams are surprising us, and a lot just cannot get over some tensions, a.k.a. the Lakers.
You know, the teams that have tension seem to be all your teams with your friends on them.
Did
the
you
Lakers,
actually
the
just
Celtics.
try to start? We're 15 seconds in. You're really gonna start with
I'm
me.
just saying, the teams with the biggest set of drama issues seem to be your teams. I
But
don't know.
are they the teams that you're about to talk about? Yeah, they are. Okay? So don't even start with me here. But we need to start getting into this playoff race right now because we have a lot to get to
We
here.
do.
Let's start with the Western Conference. Will the Lakers make the playoffs? That is the biggest question mark right now because LeBron James has not made the playoffs. What?
In 2006?
Like a very long
It's
time.
been a while.
It's been a hot minute.
It really has.
It has. Now.
Yeah, this is unprecedented. We're in uncharted territory.
We very much are. And think about this. Are the Clippers and the Kings going to be ahead of the Lakers in the playoff race? And nobody would have ever said that before this season. I mean, the Kings are the what?
Well, they're the original dumpster fire of the of the NBA. Well, at least according to this podcast, they are.
Exactly. So let's talk about this a little bit because the Lakers' fate of the playoff race hangs in the balance right now. They're going through
dramatic.
Exactly. They're going through a lot of tension. They cannot get it together. It's like a messy puzzle that doesn't even have the right pieces right now. So let's elaborate here, okay? They're currently 3 games out of the 8th seed, and it's not looking good at the moment.
Certainly not.
So what's your hot take on this?
Well,
Are we going to make the playoffs in LA?
so there's something
Lakers, not Clippers.
There's something interesting that I'd like to bring up. On my NBA season preview that I put up, that's on Black Sports Online, so you can go back and check it out to see that I'm not making this up. Myself and my colleagues, we picked, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all these various things, first team All-NBA, Rookie of the Year, blah, 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 all that. Suffice to say, by the way, all my picks are looking very good.
I am literally so done with you.
But regardless of that, I had a section that said, your one hot take, right? Do you know what my one hot take was?
I know you're going to tell us, so let's hear it.
My one hot take was, I was going to say the Lakers are not going to make the playoffs. But
Wait. I want to see this.
Wait.
I want to see this in writing. And the 7-footers, we'll put this up on the Instagram account.
But wait.
So we can see this.
But wait. That's when I did the first draft, that's what I did. And then I said, oh man, it's LeBron James. I can't go that hot on my hot takes. This dude hasn't missed the playoffs since dinosaurs roamed the earth.
That's right.
I was like, I can't go with that. So I actually deleted that hot take and put my second hot take, which is the Boston Celtics will not make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Woof. We'll get there.
We'll get there. So even though that is not the Lakers thing wasn't my original one. It's not actually, I didn't go forward with that one. Look, it's looking like it may not happen. And look, let's be honest about this. I think the flack that's going on right now around LeBron is too strong in one direction. So I'm going to strive to be the voice of reason in this whole.
Here we go.
Well, no, because here's the thing. Everyone's piling on him and killing him. And then I know, no offense, I love you, Jenna, but you will defend him to the hills and think he does nothing wrong. So we need to be...
That's right. Yes, I will.
We need to be somewhat down the middle here on this, okay? Now,
Okay, fine. I'll be rational.
no, I'll be rational. You
but
won't.
you know I'm going to lean the way I need to lean.
Here's the thing. He is still having an excellent season. I mean, if you look at all his numbers, points, rebounds, assists, etc., they're around his career averages. So
I think he's like the only player to lead in
he's
points and assists.
he's doing what he normally does. Now, he's been hurt for a large part of the year, which is problematic, right?
So sad.
The team just not as good when he doesn't play. Okay, so
what team is as good?
Well,
when he doesn't play.
That's just the reality of it. However, he has not been a very good leader with these young children this year. And I say the children because they are Kuzma, Lonzo, Ingram. Those guys.
I'll let that slide because I'm older than them.
Right. Yes.
I'll let that slide.
Yeah, you are.
I am older than them. Yes, I am.
I mean, but they're children,
Yes.
right? And he is doing the whole, is basketball the most important thing in your life, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to read this quote Bron had.
I know exactly which quote you're going to read.
Talking about basketball and whether it's important or not, etc. So this is after one of the most recent losses. It was Saturday.
Yep.
He says, basketball. Is that the most important thing while we're doing this? Is it the most important thing in your life at this time? If you feel like you're giving it all to the game, then you can do other things. But if you feel like you're not giving as much as you can, then you can't focus on anything else. That's just my personal take. Okay, in a vacuum, I agree. Bron, should we look at some of your defensive highlights lately? Not looking so sweet. And it isn't so much I'm killing him for, not playing the other team's top wing, whatever.
No, you're right. He hasn't been playing well defensively.
I don't care about that. What I care about is when he misses a defensive rotation, and then he looks at his other teammates and he's like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, no, dude, you missed the assignment, not them.
No, I completely.
It was you.
I agree. This is where I will come back down to earth from LeBron land.
The problem is that he is such a gigantic force, both on the court, his personality of presence, and everything that comes with him. It's a lot for these young kids to handle. Now, look, on the other hand, part of it is, hey, man, you're pros. You can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. I get all of that. And to be quite honest, Kuzma's playing pretty well next to LeBron.
He's been
Ingram's
carrying
been playing
his
pretty
own
well.
this season.
So, Lonzo's been hurt, etc. Josh Hart's been doing his thing. But look, it is what it is. I always harken back to Remember the Titans, one of my favorite movies. And it's at one of the points where the two team leaders get into a spat with each other. And the Julius Campbell, played by Wood Harris, says to Gary Bertier, you're a team leader, right? You're the captain. You're supposed to be doing your job. You've been doing your job? I've been doing my job. And then he's like, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and get mine and later for the team. And Gary says to him, that's the worst attitude I've ever heard. And he responds, attitude reflects leadership, captain. Right? So if LeBron wants these guys to play a certain type of way, he has to lead them differently than he's leading them right now. The mark of a really good leader is knowing, okay, certain styles work for certain players. Other styles work for different players. And LeBron's in the league long enough to know what's going to work well and what's not going to work well. This idea of, is basketball the most important thing to you? LeBron, is basketball the most important thing to you right now? I'm just curious. We see you with 2 Chainz and studios. And listen, I got no problem with that. Knock yourself out, Playboy. But again, you can't then say to your teammates when you aren't pulling your end of the bargain defensively to tell them, hey, you're not ready, what have you. Yes, as the greatest player, one of the great players of all time, top 2 all time, whatever, top 3, you have earned a certain level of cachet. But if your goal is to win with this team, this is not how you lead them. Now, you could argue the reason why he's doing that is because he didn't think he was going to play with any of these guys this late in the season. But, hey, we are where we are now, right? They're here. No more trade deadline passed. So who you got is who you're rolling with right now.
I completely agree. I think you have a slew of amazing good points. And let's also note here really quick before I go on my little rant that Jarod is so dedicated to the game. He's got a laptop right here. And I peeked over and I didn't realize until this very moment that this man is watching League Pass.
Got a little OKC Philadelphia 76ers on right now.
How we doing over there? How we doing?
Philly up 6. They were up like 10 or 15 before.
We shall see. You know how OKC likes to come out and then
we'll get to OKC later in the pod.
But I had to commend you. That was good.
Listen.
Good. I looked over. Did you see my eyes light up?
We got to stay on brand.
I love it.
we got to stay on brand.
So good. All right. Back to the business here, though. I think you have a lot of good points, and I don't give you credit ever. So everybody mark this down right now because it probably won't happen again. But I do agree with you. he's been lacking on defense a lot.
A lot.
And the way he's been handling some things, I can't even believe I'm saying this. The way he's been handling some things lately have reminded me a little bit of his son, Kyrie.
His son, I love
because
it.
there's so much missing from a lot of the leadership roles here. And it is, and I have to say, I think you will agree with me, it is a little bit scary when we see LeBron in vulnerable situations or situations that he doesn't master because we're so used to him pulling through and being okay and saying, hey, it's LeBron, it's going to be all right, he'll do it. But I'm nervous with this Lakers playoff run, if they're even going to make one. And to see the way he's handling some certain things, I'm also nervous. Because it's like you said, he's been lacking on defense. Also, he's questioning people's priorities and commitment to basketball being number one, and you're saying, hey, where do your priorities lie? Yes, he's performing, but is he performing to the best of his ability all around? Being a leader, coming back on defense, you know.
And I get it. This is year 16. I get it. And he kept coming off a growing injury. I get all that.
But if you want to be the legacy, the king, you gotta be extraordinary.
Right. And if you're going to call them out, it's like, dog, you've got to reflect it in what you're doing as well.
And here's another thing too. Also, this was recently a post-game interview in the locker room. And I can't recall the specific game, but one of the reporters said, LeBron, you know, you guys are flirting not so much with a playoff seed right now. Does that affect you, or does that bring distractions into the locker room? And he said he was ready for this one. He said to the reporter, if you're going to let distractions like a playoff run distract you, then this is the wrong franchise to play for. And you could tell in the tone of his voice and his face and the eye contact he made with the reporter that he knew what he was saying. This was a message. So what's going on in the locker room? Is there tension? Are there players who are letting this get to them, and is he giving them a sign? Is this tough love? What is this?
I would say that comment specifically, I don't think he was gearing it specifically at any one of his teammates.
No, just in general, though. Like, if you can't handle the heat, get out.
But here's what he has to remember. Making the playoffs and the pressure of late games or late season runs, he's fine with that. That's old hat for him. You know who it's not old hat for? Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram.
The entire Lakers squad, except for like Rondo.
What have those guys done in the playoffs? Oh, that's right. They never made the playoffs. So what do they know about it?
Exactly.
They don't know anything about it. So again, he has to lead differently with that kind of squad, which again goes back to my point about he probably didn't think he was going to have this squad because remember they were trying to trade everybody.
You're right, and that was a good point.
Here.
That was a very good point.
We are where we are. Look, the other thing I'm going to say, and it's going to sound blasphemous to you, but it's just the reality of the situation. I think we're getting to the point now where we can no longer just blanketly say LeBron's the best player in the game. Like we're getting to that point because it's about how long we're doing it consistently and we're able to muster it up on a consistent basis. Now, in a one-game do-or-die playoff situation, what have you, you're probably still taking him. But over the course of a season, is he still your number one pick at this stage? Probably not.
Well, here's the thing where it comes down to the details in the conversation, though. This is super interesting. So you're telling me right now, do you, yes or no, think LeBron is the best player in the league? Individually right now?
Individually right now, no.
And you think KD is? I just want to make sure.
Look.
In the league. Active right now. I'm not talking about nothing like that. I'm talking about right now.
If I want to go right now just based on durability, availability, yes, I'm going to go Kevin Durant.
Okay, that's fair.
Even though Giannis is likely the MVP, but it's just a function of team, and he's the number one option in Milwaukee and all that. But
yeah, that's fair. I'm just asking. So, and this is me also being Team LeBron as well, but this squad that he has is extremely, extremely premature. We'll say premature.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are ruling him out because of, again, it's like a Cavalier situation. He has no backup again. So it's like, is this man Superman? Because I know we put the GOAT hat on him, but it's like, how much can you take? How far can you take it
Well,
when
see,
you don't have the assets?
And that's a double-edged sword, right?
I agree.
I mean,
this is such a conversation. It really is. We're both immersed in it. I love
because
it.
He calls himself the GOAT. He
has never called himself the GOAT.
He did. No, he did. On that episode of
He said he felt like he could have been the greatest of all time in that moment. You don't even have to give me the context, honey. That's right. Your girl brought up the honey.
That was after the Cavaliers.
He said after he won that,
right.
he felt like he could have been the greatest of all time there because of that moment. He didn't say he was.
All right. Well, look. Regardless of all,
I got you guys.
Regardless of all that,
I got you.
He's also realizing this is the Western Conference, my friend.
Do you think he's regretting his decision?
No, because I think he cares about playing basketball. And when he's engaged, you see, as we saw last night, and he can still do it. Again, Father Time is undefeated. As much as we think LeBron is a machine, he's a human being. At some point, time just catches up to you. At some point. It's inevitable.
I completely agree.
And I think for him, yes, he does want to win, but he's getting pretty secure with his legacy and where his places in the game. And so
I don't think he's completely satisfied though.
No. And I think he still wants to win titles, but I think he also realizes, it's going to be a lot harder, a lot tougher sledding.
And I also think too, because you know me, I lean toward the more emotional, vulnerable side. I'm always the one crying over the cute little moments that happen.
All these silly things with like kids and memes. I'm like, oh, who cares?
Oh my God, leave me alone. I cry like 5 times a day. It's healthy. So, so you know what though? On some real-ish, I do think that for the first time in LeBron James's career, and this is totally my opinion, I know some people will eat me alive for this, but I don't care. I'm saying it. I think for the first time in LeBron's career, he's hitting moments and different waves of situations that he's never dealt with before. And you know what? Last year with the Cavs, it was rough and this and that. But right now, he's actually sitting in a classroom of first graders and he's like a middle schooler. And you're trying and you're trying and you're trying so hard, but it's just not working. I really do think this is a test of his mentality, his patience, his leadership, everything, all of the above now.
And the thing is, at this stage of his career, and again,
his age, it's a test of that as well.
Let's be honest, he's on the back end of his career, right?
You've said this a million times.
No, but I mean, it's just the reality. He's had the years, the majority of the years have already passed him, right? He has less time to play now than he's already previously done, right?
Yeah.
This is year 16. He doesn't have 16 more years to go. I mean, at the end of this contract, he might be done, right?
Yeah.
So, it's how much is he going to change? How much can he change? We don't know.
I mean, that all depends with him developing.
We don't know. The question again is, and what I think, it doesn't look good for them making the playoffs. What's going to happen this summer? Are they going to be able to land who they want? Again, a lot of free agents. They got cap room. Can they pull off a draft day trade for AD? Who knows?
They better make a miracle happen. Because
who knows?
All I can say is what we can all assume at this moment is that no one is happy.
No,
in the Lakers locker room.
It's not looking good. And look, and Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson are going to have to really figure out what is our plan B.
Exactly.
Let's say that Anthony Davis thing doesn't happen. It's very possible that it won't.
Of course.
What is your plan B or your plan C? I don't think we know right now in Lakerland, and so
I agree.
They're gonna have to figure some things out. But right now, the Clippers are holding on to that 8 seed. But you know who'd be fun? Those dumpster fire Sacramento Kings. If they can somehow get that 8 seed, a Warriors Kings matchup in the first round.
I would love that.
While it'll be a sweep for the Warriors, most likely it'll be entertaining.
You never know. The Miami Heat just beat the Warriors, so
listen.
Don't play with me on this. Let me have my moment.
You and your Wade fluky shot moment. I mean, come on. He got blocked twice and flung it up at the. Come on, you know it was lucky.
He banked it like Kobe did over him one day, okay? I don't even want to. No. Let me have my moment.
Moving right along
Before I get heated. Staying in the Western Conference, let's talk about who, obviously, we know that the reigning champs, the Dubs, the Warriors.
Right. Who, by the way, lost again tonight, back-to-back to Orlando.
Woof. Whoa. Wait, this is my first time on camera. Real reaction. Really?
Lost the Magic right before we got on.
Your girl's been working. So
now, mind you, Katie didn't play. So
Oh
rest.
gosh.
I'm just saying.
Here
I'm
we
just saying.
go.
I'm just saying.
But that does say a lot, and we'll get to that eventually. But that says a lot about the Warriors too.
Listen,
but,
you know what this says about the Warriors? These fools can't wait till the playoffs start. They're like, oh please, can we hurry up with this regular season
you
crap?
are looking at the biggest Warriors stan ever.
I
am
not a Warrior stan. Stop
I'm sorry,
it.
a KD stan.
And I'm not even a KD stan. I just enjoy his basketball and the way he plays. But I enjoy a lot of players in the league.
Me too.
Hey, well, we'll get to that.
All right, for real though. Let's talk about the Warriors, all right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's obviously out to beat them, take their title from them. So who's the biggest threat to them in the West? Right now we got what we're playing with, the Thunder, the Rockets, and the Nuggets. Nobody got the Nuggets, but hey,
Right.
hey.
So, out in the West, obviously the Warriors, as I mentioned, just lost tonight. So with that loss tonight, and Denver's playing Utah, the 10:30 game on TNT, if Denver wins, Denver will leapfrog them into the number one spot in the Western Conference. They'll be up by half a game, I believe, or a full game. And then the Warriors will be second seed and blah, 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 blah.
Who do you think, truly asking you
honestly,
right now, who can dethrone the Warriors? Right now, from what you've seen.
Right now, from what I've watched, the Oklahoma City Thunder look like the most viable team, and here is why. Defensively, they are a nightmare.
Oh, it's out of control.
I mean, they can...
And Paul George?
I mean, Paul George is playing like an MVP. He won't win it, but he's playing like an MVP.
That I have a problem with, which we can
that
get
he won't
to.
Win?
Yes.
Well,
because no one thinks of him in that race because he's quiet.
No,
he's low radar underneath.
I think if you look at when the MVP ballots go out and the awards get tabulated, I think you'll see everyone will have him in the top 3 in their ballot.
I hope so.
It will be. Look, right now, here's how I see the race finishing. It'll be Giannis 1, Harden 2, Paul George 3. That's how it's going to finish on just about everyone's ballot.
You think Giannis over Harden?
Only because Harden's 30-point streak is slowing down and he's getting his guys back, Paul, Capella, etc. And, there's backlash on Harden. People don't like his style of play, whatever. I mean, he's still incredible.
And a lot of people, and this isn't my opinion, by the
way,
but
I
a lot of people
love
say...
Harden's game, but...
Oh, yeah. A lot of people say also, too, that he's not as likable. He's not talkative. He's not this, he's not that. I know. I'm just saying I have to,
And Giannis is the best player on the team with the best record in the league, right? So, I mean...
And again, nobody's talking about that either.
And it's not like he's putting up crap numbers. I mean, he's putting up 27, 13. I mean, he's...
A lot of people hate on him, though, because he can't lock down a shot.
Well, listen, apparently he doesn't need to shoot because...
Yeah, apparently.
We'll talk about him.
But that'll be the argument against him if he wins. You know how it goes.
We know how it goes. But yeah, I like OKC because of the Paul George factor.
Yeah, who's going to take these Warriors?
Because of the length they have on the perimeter, right? The one thing that bothers the Warriors is length, right? Because remember, before KD joined the Warriors, when he was on Oklahoma City and they were up 3-1 on them, the length was bothering the Warriors. Because a bunch of rangy guys with 6'11", 7-foot wingspans, it's just length. Length is a killer in this league. And the Warriors don't like a lot of length. Not to mention, again, you're never going to stop KD, but the Thunder have a lot of bodies to throw at him, right? Paul George, Jeremy Grant. I mean, they just have bodies they can throw on him. Again, you're not going to stop him, but you can throw multiple looks at him.
You just want to slow him down.
Exactly. Or just make him less efficient. He's going to score his 28, 34 points. You hope he's just inefficient when he does it. Mm-hmm. That's really the only way you stop him, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Right? Now, but with the length, they can bother Curry, right? And then if he's bothered, not a lot of shots opening up for Klay Thompson. Because Klay, as good as he is, Klay doesn't create on his own. Klay is not a shot creator.
Yep.
He's a shot maker.
Yes.
But he's not a shot creator.
Amen.
The Warriors have two shot creators, right?
Yes.
Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, they're shot creators for themselves or for other people.
I agree
That's just
with
the
you.
reality of that situation. Yes, they have DeMarcus Cousins, so that'll help, but, you have Steven Adams. So they can be a problem. My only fear with Oklahoma City is they don't have enough scoring, right?
They're inconsistent in that
After
aspect.
Paul and Russ, who's their other guy?
Can you name
I mean, Steven
one?
Adams, but you have to get him the ball.
Down in the paint, yes, but who's going to be an outside shooter? Who's going to give you those clutch points?
Right. Who's that other guy?
Uh-huh.
So that's my fear. But I'll go with Oklahoma City right now. I like Houston and the way they're playing. They get all their guys back. If Chris Paul can stay healthy all the way through the playoffs.
But you know what happens when the Rockets get to the playoffs.
Well, listen. Hey, they were a quarter away.
I know.
From going to the Western
Conference.
Oh
my gosh, you and I both have PTSD from that.
Well, just because I was like all season.
I don't blame us.
All season, I was like last year. I was like, "This is the Rockets. They got this. They look great defensively." And
you called it too last season.
They were up
I thought you were going to be right. I was like, crap.
They were up, man. I liked how that team looked. And they're getting better defensively now. And look, and they're battle tested, so they're not going to be afraid to win on the road.
And I think they're very mentally ready this
year. They're
especially this
They're
year.
mentally tough, right? So, but again, their question is, can their defense hold up, and can they have a reliable third scorer? Can Paul and Capella stay healthy all playoff runs?
Especially Paul.
To take the load off Harden, right? So that Harden can late in the playoff series, he's able to really do his thing. And as far as Denver goes, we love Denver. We love Nikola Jokic. He's one of our favorite players on this pod. Denver hasn't done it yet when it counts, right? Regular season and playoff basketball, as you know, are two different things.
Very different ballgame.
So can Denver do it when it counts in the postseason? And again, after Jokic, who, by the way, hasn't proven it in the postseason yet either. Jamal Murray hasn't proven it yet.
No.
Gary Harris.
Well, that's the thing. At this moment in time, I would not put my money on them.
Isaiah Thomas, okay, but my thing about smalls, who is their other guy?
Yeah.
So it's going to be matchup dependent for them, and we'll see how that all goes. But look, Denver's a great story, and they're trending in the right direction.
They very much are. And I don't know if you saw that video that was going around on NBA Twitter, obviously. Michael Porter Jr. Getting some dunks down, okay?
Now listen, if Porter...
Slow comeback.
Obviously, next season will be when he... But listen, if they can get Porter... Remember what we said when they drafted him? Because it was, what did they pick, 17, I think?
Oh, yeah, he was
somewhere
up there. Just because of the injury, though.
Right.
A lot of people thought he should have been taken earlier.
Here's the thing about that. If he's able to give them scoring off the bench, shooting threes, hey, that's a nice pickup for them for next season.
Exactly.
Look,
it's not going to be this season.
There's levels to this, right? There's levels. So, great. Denver's a fantastic story. They're going to get into the playoffs. We're going to see what they can do.
I like them a lot.
They're a fun squad, well coached. They'll be fun to watch in the playoffs.
Absolutely, absolutely. We need to move on here because what about the Eastern Conference, all right? There's a lot of drama going on in the Eastern Conference. The 76ers, all right? Let's start with them. All right, will they move into one of the top 3 seeds? They're flirting. They're looking good.
They should.
What are we thinking with the Sixer squad? Because they surprise us sometimes and they disappoint us sometimes. So we're not really sure, in my opinion.
Well, so right now, it's Milwaukee is the 1 seed. Toronto is the 2. Those two are firmly where they are.
Of course.
I don't think no one's catching them.
No, it's going to be a fight for that 3rd seed.
It's who's going to be number 3.
Yeah.
And look, you got to give props to the Indiana Pacers and head coach Nate McMillan. Because Victor Oladipo went down before the All-Star break.
Everyone thought that they were
going to crater.
Done.
And they had they lost like 3 or 4 in a row right after, but they've been on a roll.
Little change up, you got to get your feet wet with the new lineup.
They've been on a roll, and they are holding on to that number 3 seed. Now,
yes, they are.
Philly should be able to overtake them. They should.
I agree.
Because they've got way more talent, right? And Philly's only a game back of the Indiana Pacers right now. But look, Indiana's net rating is still 5.1. Look, they're playing. Nate McMillan, by the way, might be coach of the year. That's how great he's doing with that squad.
It's a big statement right there.
He's playing without his all-star, right? Without their best player.
And here's the thing too with them.
Philly or Indiana?
Indiana. They're playing so well, but here's what I fear. Yes, right now it's amazing. They're probably on a high, with Oladipo out, and they're really making moves. But can they handle a playoff run for real without your major star? They built this franchise around this man.
Right.
So that's what scares me. Would I take him right now? Of course.
Right.
But when your back's against the wall and you hit the playoffs, like we said, there's levels to this. It's a different game. I'm not sure if I would take Indiana. It's scary. It's like going blind into, I don't know, anything. But it's scary.
I think come playoff time, and as it stands right now, if the playoffs were to start today, their first round opponent would be the Brooklyn Nets. And the Brooklyn Nets are getting healthy, right? Karis LeVert's back. Dinwiddie will be back tomorrow against Charlotte.
The Nets?
The
Nets, I couldn't be more proud.
So that in that series, look, you would have to take the Nets probably in 7 games.
I would.
6 or 7, right?
I would.
Indiana would have home court advantage, but again, we're putting the cart before the horse. Philly, back to them, should be able to get into the top 3. Look.
I think they will. I'm going to say it
Harris,
right here, right now.
Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid,
that lineup?
Ben Simmons. Come on. JJ, you get that squad has got to be able to find a way. Now, part of what they're doing is they're figuring out how the chemistry's all working. And the problem that everyone's having right now is we only got about 20 or so games, some teams less, to go before playoff time. That's not a lot of time.
No.
One of the things that people don't realize, and I always say this, is these teams don't have practice time during the regular season. And especially now, as it's towards the end of the season, they don't practice. You got games. So, and they got to rest their bodies
And
get ready
that's
for the
where they're
playoffs.
finding their chemistry.
So they're finding it in games on the court.
Yep.
And so that's why you're seeing this inconsistency with Philadelphia right
For
now.
sure.
So, you know.
Here's my thing. I think they have a lineup that they should be utilizing in the right way, and I think that I would take them. That's
Yeah.
me. And here's my thing. I don't mean to be harsh on Philly because I really do love them, but after their big upset last year with the Celtics, with the lineup that you have now, if they're going to make mistakes early on, they got a lot to deal with in the offseason.
Yeah.
Because right now, like with that lineup, take advantage of that, man. Come on.
Well, here's the thing. If they don't perform well in the postseason, I mean, Brett Brown's going to go.
I was just going to say.
I mean, it's just because look, they have set everything up right now to say, look, we're going all in today.
And you
like-
said that last pod. They're
So
ready to go all
I
in.
mean, we shall see.
We shall.
We shall see where they're going.
We shall see. Here's another thing that we shall see as well. The Celtics. Will we see them or will we not in the playoffs? Will they improve at this point? Because right now, it's bad. Even Brad Stevens in recent post games has admitted, you know, it's real. We have some real stuff going on. Kyrie, recent post game interview, not talkative whatsoever. He was asked about Marcus Morris's comments about, you know, we're not having fun, this and that. He said, that's his opinion. I respect it. Quiet. Silence. Crickets. Crickets. And then he's asked about a bunch of other stuff. Crickets again.
What's up with your man, Kyrie?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's going to hit
No,
me with that.
I'm just
Here,
asking.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. Kyrie, PSA,
Yeah.
you know me, I'm that ride or die NBA wife wag.
That's your guy.
But
Uncle Drew's your dude.
I don't know what else to say at this point about Uncle Drew. I have created every
Excuse?
scenario and excuse I can. But Kyrie, I'm begging you, honey, if we don't turn this around right now, we're going to be in trouble. We're not going to make these playoffs. And
No, they'll make the playoffs. There's not a question of that.
I meant make it far.
Yes.
And
hot take. They won't make the Eastern Conference Finals. You heard it here.
Oh my gosh.
It's not going to happen.
I'm not ready to say that yet, guys. But here's the thing. This playoff run, I don't think a lot of people realize. I know you will, obviously. But this is a big weight on not only the Celtics, but Kyrie's shoulders because he's back. He is the focal point of this team. If you do not make it as far as your team did when you were on that bench, wow, you better get ready for the wrath of Boston.
So
you better get ready because it's coming, and I'm scared. Because
scared for your boy?
I'm scared for him, but then that might bring him back to West Orange.
Oh Lord. So here's the thing.
Oh gosh.
It's interesting to me how Kyrie is seemingly the scapegoat for all the problems happening in Boston right now. See, I bet you didn't see this coming. You thought I was going to pile on and blame Kyrie. Oh, look at that.
Wait a minute.
Look at that. Look
if
at that.
we weren't taping this, I
Look
would
at that.
walk out. I don't even know what to
Look
do.
at that. Switching it up on you.
Oh my gosh, wait a minute.
Okay, no, hold on, pause.
Oh.
Pause.
That's his warning that he's about to rain on this parade.
Now, Kyrie deserves to take some credit, some of the blame here.
I agree.
Right? Because the way in which you deal with your younger teammates is not the way he's doing it, going to the media and all this and saying,
No,
guys,
that was wrong.
that's just not the way to handle it, Kyrie. You've got to be better than that. And look, he's learning leadership on the fly, right? I mean,
Yes.
Kyrie's still a young guy himself. What, he's 26, 27?
27,
So-
I believe.
So, you know, he's not a grizzled 30-year-old vet, right? I mean, so there's that. Here's the other thing. Why is it we're not putting any of the blame on head coach Brad Stevens and GM Danny Ainge?
Thank you. Because
Why do they get a free pass?
everyone looks at Stevens as this low-key, like he can't be touched, and obviously
the
Kyrie's...
basketball wonder kid,
Yep.
the genius who invented the game of basketball.
And people go to Kyrie because he's like a LeBron on that team. He is the one that you go to throw your darts at or to give your trophies to. It is what it is. It's a double-edged sword for him, and it sucks, but that's what you wanted, and this is what you have, and you have to deal with. And Danny Ainge, nobody's going after him because, I mean, he's the trading aficionado. He can do anything, but... I agree with you. Why aren't we talking about Brad's coaching style? Why isn't Brad in the locker room, this and that? Somebody asked Kyrie in the post-game about something, and he said, that's Brad.
That's up to Brad.
Yeah.
Defensive shortcuts. Look,
so is there tension there? Or
there's definitely tension in the locker room. Look, this is the part about coaching that I said when everybody was crowning Brad as the greatest coach in the history of basketball. I said, look, and I'm not saying Brad's not good. I sound like a broken record when I say it again. Brad is very good. But X's and O's are only one facet of coaching. The whole other side is people and talent management.
Yep.
And guess what? Brad not doing a great job with that, okay?
No.
You clearly have a fractured locker room. You got a superstar in Kyrie who's talking out of school at times. And yes, some of the blame goes to Kyrie. But some of the blame goes to Brad as well.
Yep.
You've got to get these guys all to pull in the same direction. That is where Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, Pop, these guys, Pat Riley, that's where those guys in the history of coaching, where they have been supremely excellent, is the ability to manage egos and talent and get them to all pull together. Now, hey, this could all change in the playoffs. They can go on a run. Who knows? Because that's still a talented team.
Yes.
But it is a team right now that seems to have some issues playing together for whatever reason.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point really quick with the coaches that you named, Steve Kerr, Pop.
Right, Phil Jackson.
Yeah. We've all seen that these coaches interacting with their players and on different levels in this and that. You don't see that with Brad. You don't see that personal aspect. So maybe the writing is on the wall.
To be fair, we don't cover the Celtics, so we don't travel with them. We're not in the locker room with them.
No, of course. This is all from hearsay and what we see on the outside. What
we see from the outside and what we've heard from people around.
Yes.
But like we're not there, and we're not that tapped into the inside that we know that. Again, I'm not saying Brad's a bad coach. Brad is an excellent coach. But this idea that he's the greatest and he's Teflon untouchable. Yeah. Come on. And about Danny, you put this team together. This team with quote unquote, and I hate using the term assets, but that's what these assets, okay, but this is still like people business. As much as it's about getting as much talent together, it's a people business.
Yeah.
People need to mesh.
Yep.
And you're constantly grabbing this one, this draft pick, and this thing and that, right? All for that mythical trade that may never, ever happen, right? Okay. You may put together this great package. New Orleans might say no.
Exactly. Let's be present at least for a little bit.
Then what? Right? So, again, there's blame to go around. Now, all that being said, Boston still has one of the best net ratings in the league. And if they get the right matchups in the playoffs, this team can compete come playoff time, right? They've proven it.
We still have a little time.
They went to the conference finals last year. Again, I don't think they're going that far this year because I just don't like what I see. And honestly, I don't love how they look offensively. I really don't.
No, they have a lot to work on.
So we shall see how this all plans out.
We shall see. And speaking of that really quick, let's talk about the Nets for a second here. All right? Can they hold on to the 6th seed? Like we said, we got the guys back. We got Dinwiddie coming back. We got Karis LeVert, who got a standing ovation when he returned. And stellar little teardrop first bucket for him. Really loved that. Tearjerker moment for me, as you know. And I'm a little worried, though. They have a tough schedule coming up. They just had, what was their last pretty easy game?
They played Wednesday night against the Wizards and got smoked. Not good.
Yeah, not good at all.
Not good.
And they have a tough schedule coming up here. So, can we hold on to it? Honestly, I'm going to sit here and, say, yeah, a lot of hope. And you're the first one to know, since you cover them very closely. The difference between the Nets and a lot of other teams they go hard.
They do. They play hard.
They go hard all the time.
Brooklyn, hashtag we go hard.
That's exactly
right.
And we got deloading, all-star.
Listen. Oh, man.
Gosh.
No. This is like a conversation for a different day.
Oh, it is.
We'll do that.
We'll do
that
a whole
later.
pod on that.
We'll do a whole pod on D'Angelo Russell and what I think about D'Lo, who's, listen, first-year All-Star, playing well. The key to them being in the 6th seed right now. Look, they're going to have to play excellent basketball to hold on, right?
Yeah.
Because right now, they are the 6th seed, as we said, but they are only a game and a half up on the Pistons, who are the 7th seed, and only 3 games up on the Magic, who are the 8th seed, right? Orlando with the win today over the Golden State Warriors. The Nets have the 3rd toughest schedule to close out the regular season. Let me just read off to you what the rest of their schedule looks like. And that 11 of their last 13 games, by the way, are on the road, which is never a good thing. Yeah.
No, never a good thing.
Okay. So for this Friday coming up, so tomorrow we're taping this on a Thursday, they play the Charlotte Hornets, right? This is the rest of the Nets schedule.
Okay, not bad.
The rest of the Nets schedule until the end of the regular season. At Miami versus Dallas versus Cleveland, at Atlanta versus Detroit, at Oklahoma City, at Utah, at the Clippers, at Sacramento, at the Lakers, at Portland, at the Sixers, at the Celtics, at the Bucks, versus Toronto, at Milwaukee, at Indiana.
Oh, woof. That
versus
latter
Miami.
half. That latter half.
It's just that when they go on their road trip, that Oklahoma City, Utah, Clippers, Kings, Lakers, Portland, 76ers, that is brutal. That is a monster of a schedule.
Yeah.
And what did I mention about all those teams? What they have in common? They're all either in the playoffs or they're right at the bubble trying to make the playoffs. The Nets have no easy games. I mean, we would assume that yesterday's game, again, tape was on the Wednesday against the Wizards, was an easy game. Was not. They lost. I mean, looking ahead, Cleveland, okay, that's Cleveland and Atlanta are the only easy games I'm looking at on their schedule. I mean, listen. So, do I think they can make the playoffs? Yes, but they're going to have to win. And I wrote about this in because after every game I do 5 thoughts from the game. We talk about levels to winning in this league. This is the first time this group of players are playing games this late into the season that have consequences and matter. And they're going to have to learn how to play games late in the season against teams that also have to win. So in many ways, the Nets are going to have to go into playoff mode now, right? If they want to hold on. They're going to have to go, because that road trip is brutal. I mean, you can easily see them losing all those road games.
Yeah.
And if they do that, they're not making the playoffs.
It's going to have to be a game-by-game situation. I mean, it's a tough road ahead.
It is. Now, all that being said, this team plays hard. They compete.
They got
Kenny
their guys back.
Everybody's back and healthy now.
Let's hopefully stay that way.
I think they can do it, but they're going to have to really activate playoff mode, to steal a phrase from LeBron James.
All right. I love it. Now, let's move on to a topic here. We have a few minutes left to entertain everyone. So why don't we talk about something that is a little bit off the grid, but we do need to chat about it. Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Let's talk about this a little bit here, because I know you and I both feel very strongly about this, and we're a little bit irritated about this.
Yeah, for sure.
So the Thunder play
the
Nuggets the other night. We're recording this, I don't even know. What's the date today?
Today is the 28th.
28th, so it was last night, right?
2 nights ago, 26th.
2 nights ago, 26th.
Yeah.
February 26th, OKC plays the Nuggets. And
actually, no, you're right. It was last night. Back to back.
Was it last night? Yeah, the 27th. Then I'm sorry.
I think every team in the league's on a back to back tonight.
Right?
It's crazy. Okay, anyway.
February 27th, OKC play the Nuggets, and Russ has the ball. He's near the sideline, and a little boy in a Nuggets sweatshirt stands up while one of the refs was making a call, pushes him. You could see it in the video that's been surfacing online. Pushes Russ, and Russ, you could see it affected him. He was angry, and Russ, let us know, has been outspoken about the way fans treat players, which I personally agree with him, and we'll get to it. But little boy pushes him, so Russ decides to handle it like this, which had a lot of mixed reviews in the media through fans. I personally respected the way he handled it. He went over to the father of the little boy and he said, hey, your son is hitting people. You know, you should tell him that, you know, that's not a nice thing to do. It's not okay to touch strangers and touch random people that you do not know. The little boy sat back down. There was not much controversy after it, but he was asked about it in the post game, and he kind of said what he told the father. He said, you know, I told him that it's not okay. I've been vocal about this, the way fans treat players. I agree. I think this needs to be a bigger conversation in the league. I even think that Adam Silver, commissioner, should step up and address this as well. I think there should be rules in the arenas. I think there should be rules in general. Fans are fans for a reason. They love you. They love the game. Why are you disrespecting these people that you come to see? First of all, we're taught the first thing in grade school. You cannot put your hands on someone else, especially in today's age.
We don't hit our friends.
You do not hit people. You don't put your hands on someone else. That is their personal space. You don't do that. I completely agree with Russ. I do not think, and you know, a lot of people tussled with the idea of speaking out because it was a little boy, but you do not touch people.
So
I don't care if you're a celebrity, you're whoever, no. And I know you feel strongly about this, so I would love to hear your opinions on this.
So, look, it's no secret. We talk about it very often here. In most situations, I am pro player. Okay, that's just how I feel, and it's been my time around these guys and just watching sports and understanding how it goes. A ticket to a basketball game does not give you the right to interact with the players and characters and actors in said environment, right? When you go to Broadway into a show, you don't get out of your seat and walk up on stage. That's not a thing.
No.
You don't intertwine yourself into the play. I don't care if you're courtside. You do not touch anyone that is on the court.
Absolutely. And it comes down to human nature.
And this idea that, oh, it's a kid, blah, 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 I don't care. This kid is old enough to know better, okay, number one. Number two, you've got a father who's there. You should know better. And as usual, we're missing the issue here because what is at stake here is this idea of personal space, privilege, and ownership, right? These are the issues at stake here, okay? And there's a certain segment of fan, and we can get into this in a much later and deeper time, that believes a ticket gives them the right to do whatever it is that they want to do. And it doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. I don't care. It does not give you the right to do what you want to do.
No.
And, you know, one of our favorite people, Bomani Jones, said this. It's like this idea of when you go to the zoo, you know, although some people do because they're not bright and bad things happen to them, you don't go into the lion cage. That's not a thing. You do, you're probably going to get eaten.
Great analogy.
Right? I mean, you don't go into the lion cage at the zoo, right? Why are you touching a player on a basketball court, right? The difference is because you feel like I can do what I want to do because they're not going to do anything to me and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And that is the wrong message and idea to have because you know who that kid grows up to be if that's not a learning moment for him? He turns into the fan that starts the Malice in the Palace in Detroit. He figures, oh, I can throw my beer at this player. I can do this. He turns into that fan. And that is the problem I have with this. Again, this is these people's place of work. It is entertainment for you. They are at work. And again, I don't care. You have no business engaging or interacting or touching. Russell Westbrook, as we know, is one of the fiercest competitors in this league. You know how locked in and how in the zone Russ is when he's playing? I do, because we cover games and this dude is so intense. What if Russ was still so intense? He turned around, swatted the kid's hand away, right? And Russ is 6'3", 6'4", very strong.
And then the storyline would be very different.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then it would have been Russ's fault. How? You don't belong touching play. I don't know how else to say this. And if you see this any other way, you got problems.
Not to mention that court line, there's a boundary from the seats to the court.
Yes.
It's a boundary for a reason.
You don't engage.
You don't.
You just don't engage. And so, I'm with Russ on this, and he's
too.
right. the fans do go overboard, and they think they can say and do whatever it is
And
they
this
want
is
to
why
do.
these players, including NFL, everything, because Odell Beckham Jr. has said this too. I feel like an animal, a caged animal that people are poking at and taking pictures of, because that is how people treat them sometimes, and it's not right. I completely side with Russ, and that is where I stand.
100%. I'm with you on that.
Absolutely.
It was, listen, Russ did the right thing, and it's funny because I think he told the father, hey, you can't let your kid hit people, whatever, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
he
blah.
did.
And hopefully the dad gave the kid it was a teaching moment.
I hope.
Because, again, Bomani said that, because he's like, if I was Russ, I would have taken it one step further. If your kid hits me again, I ain't going to talk to your kid. I'm coming to see you next, right? Like, and you don't want those problems.
Exactly.
Right? Like, you just don't. So, again, if you wouldn't go on the street and go touch some random person, why are you doing it in a basketball arena? Right? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I honestly have no words.
Because that kind of behavior on the street might get you punched in the face. Right? Like, you just don't go touch. What are you doing?
If he was an adult, I don't know how it would have turned out.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right? So, again, people, just be
kind. Respect personal
Seriously,
space. It's what we need to do
seriously.
in this world, especially today.
Yo, can I just drop some knowledge on you really quick?
Please do.
The Houston Rockets were losing to the Miami Heat pretty bad tonight, and then went on a run. You want to know what your man, James Harden, finished this game with?
What?
58 points.
I'm
10 assists.
done.
Wait. 16 of 32 from the field. 8 of 18 from 3. Wait, ready? 18 for 18 from the free throw line.
Done. I'm out. I'm done.
He may have pushed that. He may have pushed that MVP reward. He may have been like, hold on, not yet, my friends. God, Harden's incredible. He really is incredible.
He's too good. The secret's in his beard. We need to wrap this up here, though,
We do.
because we've chatted so much.
We
Now we need to go watch League Pass.
we didn't give him Tales from the All-Star
We
Weekend.
didn't. We'll save that. We'll save it for the next pod.
We
We had too much to talk about.
Did you want to tell him about Marvin Bagley?
Oh.
No? Okay.
No, I said, oh.
Oh, I mean, you.
No, me and Bagley, we go way back. He recently got injured. I sent him some well wishes.
Shot him a DM. My man shot the DM back.
Shot him a DM. Shot the DM back. We're Gucci. We're friends. We're friends.
I like
We're
to.
friends. He appreciated the well wishes. He said it meant a lot.
Bagley was not at the Puma party we were at.
He wasn't at the Puma party we were at. Danny Green was.
Danny Green was, yeah.
But I saw him earlier that day at the Puma Palace.
So what's up to Danny Green? Danny Green, actually, we talked
Very
a little bit
nice
about his
guy.
time in Toronto. He's having
Very
a good
nice
time.
guy.
He's liking.
He's loving life in Toronto, okay?
He's loving life in Toronto right now.
Spurs who?
Spurs who?
Spurs who? Speaking of that, let's wrap it up.
Yo, we'll be back next week. We're getting close to the playoffs, Jenna. It's woo.
Best time of the year.
Yeah,
Like
we gotta.
Christmas.
It is like Christmas, but we'll have some cool stuff for these guys and some
Yes.
playoff predictions, all that,
All that
as we
stuff.
wind the season down and get ready.
No, don't say that. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Same place, same time.
Peace.